Okay, let's just get started. Am I audible? Uh, can anyone confirm? Okay, so okay, fine. Okay, so let's just get started. So today we will be discussing the problems related to week 9 of the session, and this I hope you must have gone through the material which lectures which were uploaded last week or few days back. Uh, so let me just check whether recording okay. Okay, yeah. So I think let's just get started. So for this week problem, basically the transport uh, of the MOSFET, basically classical derivation, and the uh, advanced model was discussed in the initial of the class, and some electrostatics and some general characteristics related to MOSFET devices were discussed. Okay, so uh, so when the first if we start discussing first problem. So first problem talks about calculate the unidirectional thermal velocity at temperature 300 Kelvin for non-degenerate semiconductor. Okay, so given that m star equals to 1.08 MeV and Kb and mass of the electrons are given. So as we have as in drive in like as the derivation done in the class. So our unidirectional thermal velocity is basically average velocity in the average velocity of all the injection angle. So basically when we apply the voltage, suppose this is the MOSFET device, this is source, this is drain. So the carrier inject at all angle from this source size region. So if we take average on all the angles, so if we take average at all the angles and all the energy. So this one average is for angles and one average is for all the energies. Then we will then we will find this unidirectional thermal velocity, and that comes in our transport equation. So basically that so our transport equation is basically uh, I times q, that is the static charge, multiplied by average thermal velocities or Vt. Okay, so to calculate the Vt, as uh, the derivation done in the class, so Vt is come out to be, if we have non-degenerate semiconductor. So if we can assume this and if we assume this f1 minus f2 is approximately equals to f1. So this voltage applied is uh, quite larger compared to the difference in the uh, uh, Fermi function in the two drain and source region. So this Vt will come out as 2 kBt by pi m star. So that if you want to find the detailed derivation, then you can go through the last lectures which is uploaded in the portal. So if we go by this, so if we put all the values, then this 2 times 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23, then kBt, T is 300 Kelvin. So and m star, so m star is 1.08 multiplied by 9.11 into 10 to the minus 31. So if we simplify this or solve this, we will get this unidirectional thermal velocity value is 5.17 into 10 to the power 4 millimeter per second inverse or meter per second. So the correct answer will be the first one. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can raise your hand anytime. Or you can just turn your mic on or start speaking. Okay, so there should not be any confusion. Okay, if you have any doubt on first problem? Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. With that, let's move to next problem. Next problem talks about for MOSFET, the minimum value of subthreshold swing is. Okay, so what is the subthreshold swing? If we draw the ID versus VGS characteristics, basically transfer characteristics. Uh, Transfer characteristic is if we draw on the linear scale, then up to Vt there is very small current, and at when when VGS is this is at the x-axis is the gate to source voltage, and y-axis is the drain current. Okay, so now if we up to Vt there is because the channel is not formed, so the very small current flow, but as we cross this Vt, so this inversion layer channel forms, and the current start to increase parabolically, or linear region in it start to increase linearly. So this is for VDS. Linear region VDS is equals to VGS minus VT, less than VGS minus VT, and in this region this VDS is greater than VGS minus VT. Okay, so these are the transfer characteristics. But if we draw the transfer characteristics in the log plot, if we draw this plot on the log scale, then we will find that uh, within this region, in the subthreshold region, so the region in which this voltage is less than threshold voltage, that is known as the subthreshold region. Okay, so now in the subthreshold region, the threshold region, the current increases, so currents will saturate, and in the subthreshold region, this goes linearly. These we are plotting this is log of 10 base, a log of 10 base ID versus VGS. Okay, so in the subthreshold region, uh, basically this characteristics are linear. So uh, th- so the this slope of this uh, uh, slope of this curve, ID versus VDS characteristics, or uh, is known as the subthreshold slope. So this is the slope of this curve is known as the subthreshold slope, and the inverse of that is known as the subthreshold swing. Okay, so the subthreshold swing SS is basically equals to uh, uh, d of uh, this change in this change in the current, and the change in corresponding to change in the voltage, gate to source voltage. Okay, so log of 10 IDS by VGS, and inverse. So this is the subthreshold swing, and inverse of this is the subthreshold slope. Okay, so now what happens is so uh, so basically it is defined as so if we subthreshold slope we measure it, if we describe subthreshold slope, then the slope is basically equals to dVGS by d log uh, log IDS. So now if we we can write this as VGS1 minus VGS2 or VGS2 minus VGS1 divided by log of IDS2 minus IDS1. Okay, so then we can simplify this as this is delta VGS and this is will be equal to d log of IDS2 by IDS1. So if this IDS2 by IDS1 is equals to 10, then this log term will be equals to unity, and this this is known as the uh, change in voltage, change in gate to source voltage required to change 1 decade of current. So basically, if in this axis uh, current is changed by 1 decade, so how many like what is the amount of voltage needed to change that current voltage? So that is known as the subthreshold slope. And for uh, for uh, for a MOSFET, if you consider a MOSFET, so let me go to the details. So if you draw a MOSFET, then for a MOSFET, so basically if we draw this, uh, suppose this is the MOSFET, okay, and this is dielectric, and this is source, drain, and gate. So for MOSFET, so this if we draw the band diagram along this channel, so this band diagram is given by this. Okay, so this current, as we can see, like in the current this id is proportional to exponential of psi s by kt. Okay, so this psi s is basically the barrier between the source and the substrate region. So so this similarly this will be equals to so if we take the log of this characteristic, so it will be equal to log of id equals to this exponential, so it will become psi s uh, psi s by kt log of 10 log of 10 base e. So 10 log e. Okay, so if we calculate this, if we calculate this, then this will be equals to so if we calculate this, if we invert this and then calculate, so it will be equals to uh, d psi s by log of id will be equals to uh, kt by log 10e, and this is equals to basically your this will come out as a because this is constant, and this will come out as a 60 millivolt per decade. So to change the current 1 decade change in current, we need 60 millivolt of voltage at the gate to source terminal. So this basically comes from this thermal barrier, the 60 millivolt per decade. So that is the fundamental limit for the MOSFET. For some special case, some steep slope devices are there using some ferroelectric dielectrics, and then they are more than less than 60 millivolt per decade slope is possible, but those devices are not in very commercial scales and not realized much. Those are in research, but those devices are not in like current state of the art MOSFET or MOSFET technologies. Okay, so the correct answer for this will be last 60 millivolt per decade. So yeah, so is there any confusion in this? Okay, okay. Yeah. Uh, okay, okay, fine. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So, uh, okay. So, yeah. So, at least you will. I am explaining so that if later people watch video, so that they don't have any difficulty in understanding. Okay. So, yeah. So, in the if we go to the next problem, the next problem is basically drain induced barrier loading cause the channel formation at lower gate voltage. Choose all the correct option based on the above statement. Based on the above statement. Okay. So now let's just quickly revise what is drain induced barrier loading. So as I discussed, or even in the sir has discussed in the class, uh, when you make the channel shorter and shorter, then your control on the gate is not only control on the channel is not only controlled by the gate. This is source, substrate, and drain. So as you make this length shorter and shorter, this this barrier will move uh, to this direction. Okay. So this barrier, so now if for a shorter device, this barrier source to substrate barrier is controlled. Ideally it should not, for long channel device it should not be controlled by the drain at all, but in the short channel devices this barrier is affected by this drain. So this is known as a drain induced barrier loading. What is the impact of this? Now since this barrier is reduced already, so you need small gate voltage to turn on this uh, small gate voltage to turn the device into the saturation region, or turn on the device. So ideally, like if we see, like we can get the device on at lesser voltage, that should be good, but that is not the case. So the basically the gate voltage should not be controlled by the drain voltage, because drain voltage you can have any voltage. So suppose you have 10 devices, on 10 devices drain has some different voltage, then it the threshold voltage, or for those all 10 devices will be different. So that is one detrimental thing. So it's basically like reduce your like how the your circuit will behave, that will be different from ideal whatever you expect. And then in the IDVGS characteristics, just shift to the left direction. Okay. So if the ideally this is the IDVGS characteristics, those will be parallelly shifted to the right direction. Okay. So now, although our device is turning on and the VT1, uh, VT2. So although our device VT1 is less than VT2, but there is a catch. Uh, since now, so now this at the zero gate voltage, this current at earlier it was higher, and now it has increased. So basically, now with increase in the drain voltage, your off state leakage current also increases. So basically your off state characteristics become poor and poor, and you will have leakage. So in that sense this is not a good thing for devices. So because your this nowadays for the MOSFET technology is the main like pushing factor for the today devices is this off state leakage current. So that will be impacted by this drain voltage. So that is not good for devices. So Tibble is basically bad for the devices. So let's just see the options. So Dibble is observed in the long channel MOSFET. This is wrong option. Dibble is observed in the short channel MOSFET. Dibble effect is desired effect, and we want Dibble in our device as much as possible. No, we want to reduce Dibble as soon, like as much as possible, either using this tri-state MOSFET, or like gate all around, or this nano sheet kind of MOSFET. Those increase the control of the gate on the channel compared to the control of drain on channel. So Dibble effect is only observed in the short Dibble effect is observed only in the short channel effect. Yeah, so this is the correct answer. Dibble effect is not desired as it reduces the control of gate terminal on the channel. Yeah, this is also the correct option as I explained. So
Hello.
yeah. Hmm.
Sir, actually,
Hmm.
one question is like that because of the short channel effect,
Hmm.
that the barrier between the source and drain is reduces, generally reduces.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, sir, my question is that is there maybe there is large amount of charge flows from the source to the drain side.
Hmm.
Is that the possibility?
Large amount of charge flown through. So
Source to drain
e-
because of the decreased potential barrier due to short channel effect.
due to short channel effect. No, can you rephrase your question? Yeah, can you repeat your question?
So,
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
yes, sir, as you saw, you draw that diagram that source, drain, and length L.
Yeah, yeah. So this one, right? This one, right?
Yes, right,
Okay.
right, sir, right. So, because of when we reduce the channel length,
Mm-hmm.
then the potential barrier is reduced,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
as you indicated.
Mm-hmm.
So, my question is like that as the potential barrier is reduced, so maybe there is a chance of that flow of charges from the source to drain increases.
Yeah, yeah, you can understand that way. So basically this so I is basically your control by this exponential of psi s by kt. So basically now your psi s is reduced. So I think it's yeah, exponential of minus psi s. So now yeah, so plus, only plus is there. So now your psi s is got reduced, then your no, no, minus VB is there. Okay, so minus psi s is there. So now this psi s is reduced, so your current will increase. Okay, so even if you did not apply the gate voltage, then also this current is increasing. Okay, yeah. So did I got your question correctly, or did I
Yes,
answer?
sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, so you can
You are right.
understand this way that these electrons are there. So initially there was large barrier from them to cross. Now this barrier is reduced, so your more number of electrons can cross this barrier, so that will lead to off state leakage current. Is that
Okay, means that's the problem, na, sir?
that is the problem. Basically you want you want your gate should control the device, not the drain, because because
Yes,
drain, if you apply on the VDD, so ideal characteristics. So like here, suppose this drain is in the saturation region you are operating. So drain to source is larger than the gate to source minus VD. So in this region, in this region, this current should be zero only. It should not be like your current should be controlled by the only the gate to source voltage. Okay, so whatever amount of voltage you apply, if you have not crossed the threshold voltage, your current should not flow ideally. But in the short channel case, because this barrier is lower down, then you also flows like this ba- this based on the drain to source drain induced barrier lowering, your current start to flow in the device. Okay, so is that answer your question correctly?
yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine, okay, yeah. So next problem, the electric field in the channel is constant at uh, uh, yeah. So basically, when we make the MOSFET or at very low drain to source voltage, our this channel is approximately the same, or we can consider it as a wedge type, but it's approximately the same. So the voltage drop along this direction along this direction is very small. Okay, so for small VDS, the voltage drop across this horizontal line will be so small VDS. So the voltage drop across this cut line will be small. So so the electric field is constant. So basically your current is linearly varies with the drain voltage, because this behaves like a resistor. So so in that case the electric field is constant. So if you calculate, so the electric field will be just VDS by L. uh, the at low VDS. So low VDS and high VGS. So high VGS, you need to create the channel to for the current to flow. So basically you need to apply the gate to source voltage higher than the VT, and drain to source less than the very small. So this in the low VDS and low VGS it won't be true, because a low VGS channel is not there, and high VDS, this this channel length modulation start to take place. This channel start approaching your source side region. So at high VDS, this resistance will vary non-linearly, as you can see in the characteristics also. At low region, the characteristics are linear, but as you cross this region, the characteristic becomes flat, or curve, turn like large compared to this. So this is basically the non-linear region. Okay. So so the correct answer will be low VDS and high VGS, and non-linear, it will become non-linear at high VDS and high VGS. So basically VGS you need to put high to turn on the channel. Okay. So is that answer this question, or you have doubt any?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, so if there are no doubts, let's move to next problem. In a MOSFET with VGS equals to 2 volt and VT equals to 1 volt, and the thickness of oxide layer is 1 nanometer and area is 1 centimeter square, calculate the magnitude of charge in the channel given that EOX is uh, uh, 3.9 times E naught, and E naught is given as this farad per meter. Okay. So now so uh, so let's just see in which region is this. So VGS is 2 volt, 2 volt, and VT is 1 volt. So basically our uh, so this, as we can see, like VGS is greater than VT, so this is in the threshold region. So this is like the the inversion there will be formed. So if we consider, if we draw the the diagram of the device like here. So this this will behave after inversion. uh, this is source, this is drain. After inversion, this will behave like a parallel plate capacitor. So after this inversion charge is formed, uh, as you apply larger and larger gate voltage, this charge will appear at the interface only, and it will be equals to the difference in charge across this parallel plate capacitor. So so your total charge will be equals to Cox times VGS minus Vt. So this is the total charge. So this is where this Cox is the parallel plate capacitor, parallel this gate dielectric parallel plate capacitor capacitance. And if we put all the values, then Cox, this Cox is epsilon ox. So this is epsilon ox multiplied by T uh, epsilon ox by T ox multiply by area, this is Cox, multiply by this 2 volt minus 1 volt, and this will be equal to Eox is basically your 3.9 multiplied by 8.85 into 10 to the minus 12, and Tox is basically 1 into 10 to the minus 9, and area is 1 centimeter square. So we need to convert it into the meter square. So this will be equals to 10 to the power minus 4. So it will be equals to so uh, it will be equals to this 1 centimeter square will be equals to 10 to the 1 minus 4. So now if we uh, if we simplify this, so it will be equals 3.9 multiplied by 8.85 multiplied by 10 to the minus so 9 and 3, so it will be equals to 4, then it will be equals to uh, 32 or 34 point, so this is equals to so now this is 34 point something into 10 to the minus 7. This will be equal to 3.4 into 10 to the minus 6, or we can write it 3.4 microfarad volt. Okay, that is our charge. So the correct answer will be B. So 3.4515 microfarad multiplied by volt. This was the straightforward question. So there. Okay, so with that, let's move to next problem. So in the long channel MOSFET, the transfer electric field perpendicular to the channel is less or equals to or greater than the longitudinal field. Okay, so if we go by the just characteristics, like very crude way of analysis. So this is gate oxide, this is gate, so this is gate, this is source and drain. So if this channel is large, so basically your electric field in the channel region, in like horizontal electric field along this direction is uh, E of, let's say, x. If we consider this direction as a x, this direction is y. So ex ex is equals to basically vds by l approximately, we can say. And this E by is controlled by this E by is controlled by this gate voltage. Okay, so now since this so basically this in the long channel, since this L is small, so this Ex will be very small compared to this. So these dimension in this directions are in like few angstrom level dimension. So this gate oxide thickness is like something 10 angstrom or 1 nanometer kind of thing. So these directions are quite small. So the field in the vertical direction will be so E by will be basically equals to the voltage across this parallel plate capacitor. So VGS minus VT divide by T ox. So the field will be, since the oxide thickness is very small compared to this, and if we consider VGS equals to VT also, then this field in the horizontal direction will be very less compared to the field in the vertical direction. Okay, so this the correct answer will be, so this longitudinal field will be uh, the transfer field. This field we call as the transfer field, and this field we call as the longitudinal field. So the transverse field will be very greater than the longitudinal field. This is true only for when L is large. As L start reducing, this the field in this direction and field in this direction start approaching each other, and this there may be the in today's device the fields are approximately in the same category. So there is there is significant like amount of field corresponding to drain voltage application. Okay, so the correct answer will be in the long channel devices, the field is very large compared to the longitudinal field. Okay. So is there any question related to this?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So with that, let's move to next problem. So in a ballistic MOSFET, where the positive voltage is applied to the drain terminal, such that MOSFET is in saturation region, and the saturation current is given by the expression this. So uh, yeah. So if we go by the like as covered in the initial part of this lecture series, the our current expression is given by this. So if we apply in when a positive drain voltage apply, so our these are the levels in the uh, channel region, and this is the Fermi level in the source region, and this is the Fermi level in the uh, drain region. So if our the voltage applied is large, then we can approximate this difference f1 minus f2 to approximately equals to f1. Okay. So that uh, we can approximate. So according to this, the GE, which is equals to the Fermi function, so the Fermi function will be equals to the source Fermi function. So if the applied drain to source voltage is large, then our this this will be our the this Fermi function will be primarily dominated by the source Fermi function. Okay. And this was discussed in the class also. So if you have any confusion, you can refer to the class. Okay. Yeah. So let's move to next problem. So in the unidirectional thermal velocity is the average of electron velocity entering in the channel, and the average is taken over something and something. Okay. So as we discussed in the as we have discussed in the past, or sir has discussed in the class. So this source channel region, so basically, this source has very huge pile of electrons, and they available. Those goes in the random direction. Okay, so some will enter in this direction, some will enter this direction, so and some with the different energy. So that depends on the number of pathways are available. So so our current is basically directly proportional to related to the our unidirectional. So from a positive direction, unidirectional average velocity. This unidirectional average velocity is given by uh, average over all the angles and average over all the energies. So basically, if you take all the angles average, so this average and all this energy levels average you need to take, or depending on the number of pathways available in the channel region, you need to take account of all the energy levels. Okay. So the correct answer is average is taken over angle of entry in the channel and the total energy or energy in the. Okay, so is that this is clear, right? Yeah. If there is any question, you can ask. I can wait for some time. Okay, so with that, if there is no doubt, let's move to next problem. Consider a long channel with length 1 micron and 10 micron. So length 1 micron and width is 10 micron. Electron mobility is given as 800 centimeter square per volt second, and oxide capacitance is 3.45 into 10 to the minus 7. The threshold voltage is zero point 0.7 and VGS is 5 volts. Calculate the ID set in the MOSFET undergoing the classical pinch off in saturation. So basically, in the classical pinch off saturation, so your current, so the channel becomes the pinch off, and your current uh, will become equals to so IDS in the saturation region will become equals to the IDS when VGS V drain to source equal to VGS minus Vt. Okay, so this classical saturation, you must be very familiar with the the current equation. It is equals to half of mu n cox W by L VGS minus Vt whole square. Okay, so if we put the values, so then half of this mu n is given as 800 centimeter square, and uh, COX is given 3.45 into 10 to the minus 7. All units are in centimeters. So while solving in the exams or any other gate exams, please pay attention to these units. So if your this centimeter unit should be in always the same. Otherwise, you will get some order of magnitude answer difference uh, in your uh, questions. So now this and W by L is basically W is 10 by L is 1. So it is this this WL because this is ratio, we can cancel this micron to micron. So no need to convert this. And then VGS is given as 5 volt and VT is given as 0.7 volt. So basically this half of 800 times 3.45 uh, multiply by 10 to the minus 7 times this is square, so it is 4.3 square. So approximately it will come out as a 25.516 milliampere. So the correct answer will be last one. Okay, so this I think it will be straightforward only. Yeah. So let's move to next problem. Consider a long channel MOSFET with channel length 1 micron and 10 micron, similar to previous. Electron mobility is 800 micron, 800 centimeter square per volt second, and oxide capacitance is 3.5 into 10 to the power same. Uh, then VT equals to zero point 0.7, VGS equals to 2 volt, and VDS equals to 1 volt. Calculate the IDS. Okay. So now we need to find in which region this MOSFET is there. So VDS is given as a 1 volt, and we so basically we need to calculate uh, VDS compared to VGS minus VT. So if VDS is greater than VGS minus VT, then it is in the and first we need to see whether VGS is greater than V threshold or not. So here VGS is 2 volt, which is greater than zero point 0.7 volt threshold voltage. So the transistor is in on condition. So if the transistor is in on condition, then we need to check whether VDS is greater than VGS minus VT or VDS is less than VGS minus. So VDS given as 1 volt and VGS minus VT is 2 minus zero point 0.7, which is equals to 1.3 volt. So as we can see, this VDS is less compared to this region, then this will be in the linear or triode region. Then our current is given by this. So IDS is basically mu n cox uh, W by L. Uh, then it is VGS minus VT multiply by VDS minus VDS square by 2. So I am not doing the derivation of these equations. If you have any questions or any doubt, you can ask, or you can refer to the class notes or class lectures. Okay, yeah. Kamal, you have any question? Yeah.
Yes, sir. So question is like that. Suppose the question is framed like that. That
Mhm.
VDS is greater than VGS minus VT after solving the way you saw.
Okay, okay, okay. Mm-hmm. So VDS
So
is,
sir, then the formula will be, yes.
yeah. So then then I think there are a number of things to be taken. So so basically, so if we draw the characteristics, so what happens is in the classic pinch off region this becomes flat. So if we can apply directly either so after this uh, you can apply directly this equation IDS is equals to half of mu n COX W by L VGS minus VT whole square. Okay, so this also you can apply, this formula also you can apply. Just you need to see like this after this pinch off, when pinch off is there, when VDS is equals to VGS minus Vt. Okay, so after this current is constant. So if we calculate current at this point, then we can calculate the current at any larger voltage of VDS. So if we put in this equation VDS equals to VC, VGS minus VT, then also we will reach to the same equation. So if we put here the VDS equals to VGS minus VT, so then it will be equal to mu n COX W by L. Uh, this will become VGS minus VT whole square minus VGS uh, minus Vt whole square by 2. So this half it will become uh, this 1 and 1 half will become mu n COX W by L half of VGS minus Vt whole square. So we again reach to the same formula. But after this, suppose you have give like you are given as a channel length modulation parameters or any other model, then you need to take care account of that modulation also. So if the slope is like that, then you need to take account of this channel length modulation parameter L dash. So basically L dash is a function of L times 1 plus this some lambda parameters is there, so that you need to take account. Okay, so is that answer your query?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you can go either direct with this if it is provided that this classical pinch off you need to take, or you can go with this one also. So now in this case VDS is less than uh, VGS minus VT, so our the transition will be in the triode region. If we put all the values, so we know VDS, we know VGS minus VT. So if we put in this equation, then we'll reach to 5.934 milliampere. So you can solve it exactly uh, by putting all the equation. This is just straightforward uh, uh, formula substitution kind of question after that. But this is critical. First you need to check whether your transistor is in on region by checking the whether your gate to source voltage is larger compared to threshold voltage. Then you need to check whether drain to source voltage is uh, larger or smaller or equals to gate to source minus Vt. Okay, so that is that you need to take care. So if you go by this procedure, you will always go to the correct answer. Okay. So yeah, so this was from my side. Yeah, so yeah, so this was the last problem I think. So if you have any other doubt, then I can wait for some time because we have a lot of time remaining actually. So if you have any other doubt related to previous class, any other class, then you can ask, or any other assignment or previous assignment kind of thing you can ask, or yeah, I can wait for some time.
Sir,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe sir, in this month, in the last we have exam
Okay,
of
okay.
this paper.
Uh-huh.
So, do you have any suggestion, or will you take one session on how to get some good mark in the final exam? Means
Oh.
this suggestion is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Will you tell how to do the questions and all things like that, sir?
I think yeah. So that actually this will be, I think, before the end term there will be one session, one live session, I think, which will be taken by the sir directly. So you make sure you join the that session. So all the instruction will be provided in that section. I know because in the last time also this was like that only. So I think two session happens, one at the initial and one at the last. So if that session is not happening, then please let me know. I will either inform sir to conduct a session, or if I am uh, permitted, then I can also take the session. There will be no
Okay,
issue
sir.
with it. Okay, fine. Yeah. So if there is no announce,
Other
so
than that, no, sir. Other than that, doubt right now.
other than that, sorry, your voice got interrupted in between. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Other than that, currently I don't have any doubt,
Okay. Okay.
and I will do some work. And any doubt, then next week I will ask you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine. You can ask anytime. Okay. So, yeah. So, I will be happy to answer any doubt. Yeah. So, because I think this ninth, today's, I think, 10th, 11th, and 12th, three more sessions are there. So, please conclude your doubt if any doubt is there. I will try to solve as in the class, or if I need to look for something, then I can answer or reply in some mail or queries. So there will be no issues. Okay, so let's end this session for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining this session. We will meet next week, same time, same platform. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, nice weekend. Uh, so thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice time.